the band. Eyes on the money like a rubber band. That is number one, I follow his gun.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to APAC North. Man, the 2 games are already done, but we still have 2 to go, and all could be decided right here, right now. FNATIC play gatekeepers to Guts Gaming, and Guts, should they win this game, because they need all 3 points to equalize Mantis FPS, they just go straight to Sweden, book their tickets, and will be on their way to Gävle, a bit north of Stockholm.
Choo-choo.
It's going to be a rough ride trying to train
there,
from Japan all the way to
say,
Sweden. Trans-Siberian?
Yeah, I was going to say, to get to the airport, I mean, you'd take the train, wouldn't you? In Japan,
Usually,
specifically,
yes.
yeah.
I don't know. Will they fly from Haneda? Where will we fly on?
Sapporo? Do you live in Sapporo? No?
I'd have a drink too right now,
Oh,
so
yeah.
understandable. There it is. It's the region. Those. Anyways, let's talk about our matchup. There's a lot on the line in this for Guts. But first, FNATIC, what can happen to them here?
Nothing.
Aren't they just dwindling in the middle, you know?
FNATIC are not going to get relegated. FNATIC are not going to go to the major.
Okay.
FNATIC are not going to make playoffs.
Okay.
FNATIC are not going to go to 6 Invitational on points. It is only open qualifier. At this point, their season, their stage is done.
So what are they playing for?
Freedom.
Oh,
freedom.
And then the US national anthem is in the background going, yeah, freedom.
They're playing the stage. It's their last fixture, but it means nothing to their standings whatsoever.
Okay.
So I think for them, they'll want to put in a good performance for themselves.
Yes.
Because stage 3, unfortunately, it started out so bright, but it's just kind of whimpered away. They've not played well after about Playday 2 or 3. And I think that's the struggle for FNATIC, because they've got the higher expectations, right?
Yeah.
I think they just need to see this stage out, focus on trying to finally get themselves across to Japan, and just be ready for next year.
Yep.
I think the biggest thing for me, obviously being very proud of FNATIC, being an Australian team, even though, of course, pseudo-Japanese in their organisation, big thing for me is that I'm going to throw it out there. I think there are problems in the team. Like I said, Mentalist should stay, but I think there are more problems in the team than Mentalist replacing Lusty in the lineup. And so I would hope into the new year that there are either huge fundamental changes to the roles and the way that they play, or there are roster changes. And I hate asking teams to make roster changes, but I'm just saying we have big expectations of this team and this organisation.
We've seen FNATIC experiment with a 6-person roster as well, and they're not afraid to make the big decisions.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Guts, though, it's all on them today. And, again, they need all 3 points. Now, Fresh, why is that exactly again? For those in the back that haven't heard,
the Guts train is rolling. That's exactly what it is.
Or, as
I can't do that
Des would say, Neo, 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 Neo. I think that's how Des puts it.
Police train then? What was going on?
No, so there was one time when I was casting with Des, there was a blitz coming through on Oregon in bunker, and he goes, "Here comes the train,
Nino,
Nino,"
Yeah,
as if a train makes a Nino sound. So that's the meme.
Apparently, that's a horn that they use because he lives next to a train track.
Yeah, he does. Have you ever heard him cast from home? Sorry,
Yeah,
I know
it's
we're going to
hilarious.
but if he has the window open, you hear the trains. Guts, they're on 14 points. They are 3 points behind Mantis that we just saw on 17 points. But crucially, they hold the head-to-head above Mantis. So should Guts get a regulation win here today, they will go to Sweden. They will go to the major. Any other result, so any overtime or Guts lose, they will just be playing the playoffs, and it will be Mantis who represent APAC North in Sweden.
As long as you win in regulation, you're good to go. This is some prime Wagyu here for Guts. This is one Korean
Grade
team.
5
This
Wagyu.
is A5 Wagyu Kobe level. This is the good stuff. This is the 100 euros or 100 grams kind of level we're talking about here.
And they're going up against a weakened version of FNATIC. What a better team to go up against. I would have actually rather they go up against FNATIC, who on their best day is a fearsome team, but has been lowered in their capacity recently, then go up against an unknown quantity like T1 or Fab.
They match the style a little bit better.
I agree.
You know what to expect from FNATIC rather than those other teams.
I agree, and Guts is a good team.
Definitely so. You don't make it this far by not being one, which is a great surprise here in Stage 3, among many others. Which map, though, will surprise us today or not? That's the question. And we will go to Oregon. Again, Guts having the final say, taking out Chalet and going to an all-time classic on Oregon.
I mean,
FNATIC left Chalet up, right?
How
mean,
does he keep
FNATIC on
allowing
Chalet
this?
again.
I mean, look, it's called masochism.
Yeah, clearly. And FNATIC is all about that.
I mean, Guts tend to ban the Chalet away throughout the
Yes,
stages we've seen.
yes.
It's not a high preference map, so it's no surprise to see it. But yeah, FNATIC just keep wanting to run it back on that map. Or, they were
I
clearly
don't like
expecting
that.
Guts to get rid of it.
I don't like that. Look, the only thing we have is the recent match against Damwon Kia that Guts played, and they smashed Damwon Kia 7-2 on it. And it was a very surprising victory for us, and it really kicked things off for them being the team that they are to this very day. So recent history shows they're in form for this map.
Yeah, I'm expecting big things out of them. They're clearly, we talked about big maps for big games in the last map, the last matchup. It's the same again here. Guts are, they need to turn up on this map. They need to go to Sweden.
Let's
They
go,
need to
Lily.
turn up, get to 7 rounds, win, and you are good to go. It doesn't matter how many round differences. You have the tiebreaker because you beat Mantis in the last Playday.
Yes.
Guts just need to get the points, and that is it. Weakened FNATIC, like you say, Jess.
Yep.
Things can work for them, but hey, upsets have already happened, so who knows how it'll go. Guts versus FNATIC. The stakes are very simple. You win, and in regulation, you go to Sweden. All on Guts. Nothing for FNATIC to win or lose. How does it go? It's on Oregon. Let's toss it to our casters. It's, of course, as 50% of the time. Hap and M, take it away.
Roughly 50%, because some days we have 3 games, or 5 games rather. So either way, yes, but we've seen it before as well. DK versus T1 today. DK, team, nothing to lose, nothing to gain, but they still crush the hopes and dreams of T1 of potentially making it to the playoffs. So it will be Guts against FNATIC. Mentioned before, due to the previous result that Mantis managed to put on the board, Guts need to even that or better due to the head-to-head that goes their way. So they need to find 7 in the next 12 rounds. Anything less, and it's over. That it is. And now we'll see if they can put it together, because we are back on Oregon, the place we were before again. It's a good end of day map because it offers not really a huge amount either on attack or defense. It's one of the things that get cited. You see it quite often at the sort of top and tail of a season because for attackers and defenders going into it, it's still got a lot of balance. It's still got a good chance of pulling, a 3-3 as a standard half, if not a sort of split. Here in the top left, it doesn't paint the full story for FNATIC, I don't think. Of course not. FNATIC suffered from the start of those L's in the top left because of a change of roster, because of the injury, and unfortunately haven't been able to pick themselves back up pretty much. Yeah, and it's an unfortunate thing to see, because at the start of the stage, we were like, maybe FNATIC is going to be in playoffs, maybe they might even try and contest for that major spot, but now here they find themselves being able to act as gatekeepers for that major spot. They can either send a Mantis over or let Guts have the spot, which it would be surprising. We would have 3 different teams on the first place position in the year if Guts is going to be able to take it here and now. But as we mentioned before, they need the full 3 points. 2, not enough. 1, definitely not enough. So 7 rounds in the next 12. That's what they're aiming for. And they'll start off on the defense attack. Mind you, Orange maybe thought defense, but that was just the bait.
Lost.
And it does mean... I was going to say, Jess just starts jumping up here.
I thought she was skipping.
After having correct walking Des, we now have skipping Jess running around in the studio.
Everybody, it's like the end of school. Did you ever have it when school was coming to a close and everybody would get really excited and you'd have like a not a real day at school?
Listen, we just watch movies because
Yeah.
you basically finished all your subjects already last week, so it's like, well, we need to be here, but...
In England as well, you would come in your own clothes. Because obviously
you do
otherwise...
every day.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, we're usually in a uniform.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the energy of the studio, but I'm feeling it. I'm loving it. Let's see if Guts are loving this chance, this lockout. They have some good stead. They have some good ground. They're up against a FNATIC that's been a bit weakened. They're up against a FNATIC that hasn't quite connected. I think it's fair to say that Mag has definitely been the standout for FNATIC these past few games, that even when things are going away from them, he's still put in these very top-tier performances. Expect to see him, especially on the attack, potentially driving a lot of the possibilities and the movements. He does pull on some good flanks, but if they're going to have some success, they need Mentalist to show up a little bit, they need Tex to show up a little bit, and these connections
I'll show up.
Well, that's it, but it's the gunfights. It's those who, on their day, the flip of the coin with Tex and Mentalist building up into it.
Yeah, definitely so. Right now, very bottom-heavy hold. Just a singular roamer up in the big tower. Stiggs, without him even realizing, he almost got his head removed there. Just a single press of that trigger. The attacker would have been enough to potentially get that kill. Either way, Light into the armory. Pushing through. That top floor control is what Guts want to go for first. If they do manage to get that under control, then they can start working their way down from the freezer, which is exactly what Lily is currently doing, and potentially the big backstairs as well.
Look at this, Mag stacking up with Alfama on the swing round potential here. There's obviously grenades that can bounce around, but they want to try and keep those when they have a position to put the pressure onto Alfama. Eyes are most likely going to be on the Maverick, opening a little bit of the hatch inside the server room, so they can sort of get a peer angle round. If anything, it will force the Clash to have to pull back, because at that point, otherwise, it will just be an easy pickup from her spine. It forces movement, and you want to force movement before you force engagements, just so you have everything working in your favor. Here, it's a job of shepherding. And what they're doing is slowly pushing them back onto the site itself. Getting themselves still adjusted and acquainted with the hold on the elbow, the swing around and the potential. As I said, there's that hatch I talked about being opened now. And as you can see, Alfama, he wants to keep an eye, but he cannot keep it too keenly.
See, the thing with the hatches being opened up, you're not really going to be able to challenge those stairs directly anymore, but you can still challenge the rest of the hallway because it's just a very tough angle to work with. You do not really have much space, can really only cut it from two sides as Tex is receiving a lifeline here, a concussion at that. Stiggs, well aware that someone is on the back stairs, is in a position where he can also try and cover, but rotates all the way back to elbow. Now, that leaves Tex in a bit of an exposed position, so he decides to fall back himself as well. There is still that shield right into the hallway, and Alfama that's covering up the freezer, so plenty of utility to work with.
Able to smoke off the stairs there, a clever play in combination as Tex gets the wall reinforcement, but it's Yura that goes down first. Mag with the swing onto the body that was on Laundry, and they were quite isolated, so it's actually going to be the attention that needs to be paid from the opposite side. The burn around on elbow as they swing onto the pillar side. JJ tried to drive some of the support of Light as Mario goes for the hot drop onto E-Box. Clash is still isolated, but it's Tex that causes more problems. Up next as Light slow creeps his way around, gets one, can't find the connection to the second, and that now puts them in a tricky situation. They're trying to pull themselves closer. The Clash is just steadily burning it, but it's Mentalist that locks it off. One more pop-up for Lily, but the lock-off of Mentalist finds FNATIC an opening round.
It's that first round for FNATIC, and that is 1 out of this 6 that Guts Gaming can afford to lose. It's not a great start to a game. They need to win if they want to go to the Sweden Major. Of course, if they don't win now, that doesn't mean they're not going at all. They're just having to play through those playoffs. So that is going to be putting up a little bit more pressure onto them. But we're nowhere near that yet. Only 1 out of those 12 rounds they have to lock in the win has passed, and we're going over to their secondary side. It's going to be the top floor. We're going to the bedrooms. So FNATIC, we've seen already quite some nice holds in the previous game on Oregon. And let's see what FNATIC will have to bring, if they're going to be playing aggressive into walk-in as well, for example, or if they're playing it more passively.
It was well played, I think, there by FNATIC. They didn't overextend in terms of roaming on the map itself, which gives them some options to do that, though the pre-placed drones from Guts Gaming were pretty well put together. They were looking for potentially just a bit of problems to cause on that outer ring, that buffer of
Hit it.
map. That's, I believe, to catch the 2 walls.
It did, yeah.
And they made sure the Clash was always in a sort of present and pertinent position to annoy and pester the players that wanted to come via freezer. Guts Gaming went for the drop and went for the push through some well-utilized utility, which I pointed out from FNATIC, and they couldn't quite get the angles and the confidence, but they were still able to at least try and apply some pressure. It's just seeing if they can find a weakness in what was a very fluid defense.
That is the main part. Something that FNATIC does well. They like to play fluid. They like to move around a lot. See a lot on Chalet, for example, the many angles, the many rotations they create. We saw it a little bit on Cafe as well, and you know, it's gonna see it happen slowly but steadily onto Oregon. A map that is maybe a little bit less mobile, especially on that top and bottom floor, so maybe when we get towards that first floor is really when we see it come into play. Grenade, however, being tossed in is going to get rid of Electric Law number 1. There's still a secondary one on the board. Mentalist has it in his hands currently, but we'll be holding on to that potentially for the actual exothermic to go off or before the second grenade pops, just to make sure that they have the opportunity to open. JJ quickly scanning for any black eyes to be out there. And as the Electric Law, I believe, just got tossed in. There you go. That is going to trick the first exothermic. Still one left on the board, and as Mariu, well, has a blowtorch available, could actually try and find a way to destroy it.
Well, the second grenade is going to do the job itself, and now it's just going to be a wall that gets popped open. A good burn of utility here, and they still have some of the holds, and it's sort of becoming a little bit like CC Wall on Club. You expect walk-in to fall often when it's a walk-in sort of push, unless otherwise they go for something different, and here, there it was. There was the lock-in, there was the coordination, and now it's seeing what they can do behind it. Euro suffers outside on the big double window versus Mag, who's sort of drifting side to side and causing continual problems. As Light steps up to the trophy door, it's a grenade that takes care of Mag first on the early corner. A body underneath in the rotation from Tex, and one more is causing some problems. Swung on a pre-fire from Stigs and Mentalist, and Mariu pretty much traded out. Euro hops in, realizes that a lot of the players are off-site, with JJ going for the swing at the same time. The pre-fire buys him a second of life, but the fact that the diffuser is unfortunately isolated in trophy is causing some problems. One more swing on a close angle.
Ooh, they both almost saw each other there, but Yura is going to be the one to lock up the kill. Now Sticks able to pick up JJ as well, leaves it only up to Yura right now, as Mariu is still down, trying to work his way back into a safe area where he could go for a potential pickup, but Sticks just chases him out, gets that kill. Yura, however, manages to find a response. It's a one-on-one. Mentalist is on one bullet, Yura maybe on two, but it's going to be Mentalist to win it out as he's prone in the attic. Nice FNATIC to pick up their second round, and the tertiary site we go to now. He almost managed to sped past there, so good pre-fire.
That's it. It was trade for trade and a carousel of death as they rotated their way around a lot of the soft and hardened walls that were still in place. The flank and the play there from the two players on the loose side were able to cause some problems. As I said, that wall fell, but we had the eyes on Tech still playing underneath, and obviously Stigs being able to cause some problems alongside that. It was perfectly timed. They knew how they wanted to play that push, and they knew when they wanted to pop it off. Guts almost clawed their way through. One more trade had gone their way. Maybe, obviously, if we'd seen Mariu not go down and be able to survive on a sliver, as Mentalist was able to. I believe that was the engagement where that came together. It's just those little moments, and unfortunately for Guts, they didn't quite add up this time. FNATIC were confident enough to lock it off.
Round 2 of the 6 they can lose, gone. Currently Guts still on 0 themselves. Not the best start to the map, but as mentioned before, they're on that attack now. That means that it is a defense-focused map, so a 4-2 split would be considered still okay, still doable. Guts, however, they need to make this one stick. We're on the tertiary site now. If FNATIC managed to pick this one up, it's starting to be a little bit more worrying. Of course, there's always the opportunity to counter strats the pushes or the defenses we have already seen, because it's very likely that we will see a similar, if not a variation of that, in the next couple of rounds to come through. So there is always that opportunity that in the second half of that, or the second quarter rather, that the attackers manage to find a little bit more rounds compared to the first.
All the way to the top of the tower as they make sure they have some clarity and control, as we said and saw. The flank was a little bit of a problem in the previous round, and here they're going to make sure, I guess, that they drive themselves towards the top down and not leave at least a cautionary stone potentially unturned. Light's going to open up a bit of height on the angle to make sure that they can keep some solidity before the collapse and rotation comes, but otherwise Yura has gone a bit of a drift on the far side. Look at these, the pings to the player on the bottom of the stairs. They're aware. And they're aware, locked off, and quickly a rotation comes down to try and meet them. The drone gave it away, but Mentalist won out in the firefight itself. Some pressure came elsewhere, and Mag hotfoots it out of there. The pair of them took an exit that was almost cut entirely in half by Guts.
Managed to at least pick up one, but then FNATIC, of course, quickly to strike back. Had no idea that Mentalist was going aggressive right after them, and now Guts still in the 4-on-4 and not having the advantage. You've lost your grenades, whereas Tax, well, his ability is placed and you forget about it. That is, well, he will still potentially make an impact into this round, even though he is dead right now. FNATIC onto that defense. Angles are being created from above. Alpha is quite close to that breach. They should not really try and go for a plant here, unless there is going to be some cover from below. Doesn't seem to be the case, and Alpha digs himself right behind the bomb chassis.
Stiggs is trying to cause problems for FNATIC as well. He's playing around the little bit of hard work that you have on the top and spraying some bullets, and they've gone to hunt. They've gone to put a bit of aggressive pressure on the top of APAC itself so they can clear themselves some space. Alfama called as being in the close corners. He just makes a bit of a mad dash across the open space, takes the hatch drop out of there. Better to survive and thrive than suffer later. Meryu now has to pay attention once again to the underneath. They do have a dead player to watch a flank drone somewhere, but it seems like it's more of a recuperation. Round on the back far side, they're going to reassert themselves. Stiggs jiggle peeks and drops the man on the stage and really puts the pedal to the metal as they go for the plant. It's the impact that doesn't quite have the impact that they want, and Meryu somehow sticks it.
Managed to stick it there, wasn't able to quite get the angle. 2-on-3 now, two members of FNATIC bring it back to only two on the side of Guts. Mentalist, however, is on low HP. The time is ticking in their favor as Alpha just spotted out the Yana there, needs to win this gunfight, and he does. The second one is in a big tower here. It's Light with the LMG, does not need to reload, gets the very first. He needs to be swung on right now, and it's Alpha that clutches it there, goes for the defuse, and that's FNATIC on 3 and Guts on 0. And with every round that passes by, it's Mantis that is looking more and more likely to be making it to Sweden.
Fantastic rotation there from Alfama, and the restructuring of FNATIC, the way they're playing their defenses so far is so good. I love the repositioning, the creativity, which is all these things that we've complimented on before, is sort of on big display right now. The positioning, the energy, the momentum and the movement. This is why I sort of talked about those 4 losses in the top left at the beginning. Although they've suffered recently in the games, their form just before that was some of the best we've seen from them in a very long time. And this is them sort of reasserting that as Guts take their time out.
This also might be a bit of pressure that comes down onto Guts right now. They know they're just a single map away, just a single win away from making it. They already did the hardest part. They needed to beat Mantis to stop them from out of qualifying last week. Now they just need to drag it over the finish line, you would dare to say. However, the dragging over the finish line is to win from a FNATIC that, you know, had a bit of a slump due to an injury, but now is back into full strength and is definitely stepping up well onto their defenses. 3-0. 3 rounds left you can lose. That's the way to look at it. Or 2 rather. You can lose 2 more rounds. A 3rd round and it's Mantis that is qualified. And they're yet to win one themselves. It is going to be an extremely tough battle. They need to win 7, and they can only lose 2.
Wow. But like that, makes things tough, makes things tricky.
Yeah.
They have a lot of work left to do, and so far FNATIC, they've been doing great work. As I said, it's been so complimentary to all the things we've given them compliments to. It is hand in hand with the stuff that makes their game the strongest it's been in a long time. And sure, an unfortunate chunk in the middle, well, it still doesn't ruin the potential top and tails of ending on a high. Here, with the 3-0 buffer, they head back down to Laundry to see if they can once again try and reassert themselves. The start was a mag take on the Laundry side, as he sets that to wash and spin and dry.
Puts on top there to, if anybody would be trying to drop or take it as a bit of an elevated angle, they would be taking some small damage, having to pull that out first. Light putting up some pressure onto the elbow, but really just opening up the barricade and dropping off right after. Doesn't need to be active there as Stiggs is looking to go for a bit of a spawn peek. Heard the door beneath him open up as well, and I believe there is a flank drone in position. It is now going to be Light, well aware of the fact that Stiggs was in that big tower. He has, however, fallen back down towards the side. Still on that tower, still trying to at least contest, but in a bit of a safer position here as Tax spots out a drone. Fails to take it out, so that might actually come back to them in the end, because information is always still key. Stinks is attempted to be wallbanged there. He's going to be safely allowed to rotate back.
They saw an opportunity, but I think a lot of that was a little bit of a pre-fire on the angle, and he got lucky to not suffer from that. If he had, it could have been a very different story. It was Guts Gaming, though. Just opening the angles, opening the holes that they wanted. They're going for, again, bit of attention here onto the opposite side as of first. Obviously, the big difference is the clash. They're playing against the flat gunfights. They're not sort of playing against a wall this time round, and fair play to FNATIC, shaking things up, but also realizing that they've been able to put a good bat of pressure on with just gun skill back onto the fight itself. This will buy them some time, and our fan is looking to see if he can buy a little bit more by throwing himself into the fight itself. Drop grenade close to remove any electronics or anything that may otherwise be. I don't think that'll get the default, but chances are with the body already down by Freezer, they've already swung and taken it.
Drone taken out now by Alphama. They want to hold on to Freezer as long as they can. There's a lot of grenade potential here for Guts. And as the drones are coming in, the grenades are being tossed in. Mario drops down the hatch, drops one grenade into, but Mag still lives. Tax goes aggressive into the Freezer. They know they need to strike back. They need to stop Guts in the tracks right now, because otherwise they're going to be able to overrun the site.
Oh,
the grenade drops! The grenade drops!
Drops. Mario at least finds Mag in and amongst the cacophony and rain down like mortars. They were trying to hit the shots, but one hop up on a set of lockers and a plucky player is able to cause devastation in the end of the Freezer. Now, what can you try and build? Guts Gaming, you threw everything, and that's a little bit more. Alfama's taken out as Mario retakes the mantle. They might have an idea that there's a body still loose on the side of the laundry. They shuffle. It is, but Mentalist still wins out. He's hopping up and down, and they swing on the side. It's all falling apart because Mentalist played peekaboo.
Gotta say, well played by Tex there. Grabbed the Yana at the very right moment. The grenade was being pulled, but just not tossed yet. And if you kill someone with a grenade in their hand, it drops dead onto the ground. And whoever is in range will be taken care of. Maybe a bit of a lack of communication there from Guts, not being able to call that in time, meaning that they had to evacuate those staircases. I'm not quite sure, but that was worth 2 kills, that one headshot he made. And that leaves us at 4-0. Just a singular round left that Guts have as a buffer. A singular round they can lose, because if they lose 2, it is Mantis to make it through the Sweden Major. And it will be Guts that will have to go through the qualifier, through the playoffs. And now, FNATIC back to that top floor. The pressure was truly onto the bottom floor attack, but I think Tax, with that one shot, managed to alleviate a lot of the pressure suddenly. And of course, they still managed to strike back. They managed to find Mag. They managed to find yet another one from that Freezer itself, but in the end, it was already too big of an impact to, well, not go their way. And that leaves us back at this top floor. Shields being set up on either side. They want to be actively challenging a push to come through from the walk-in closet. Angles have been created this time as well into the wall to potentially challenge all the way to the outside of it. Mentalist there putting up the Mew Jammer. You have it there. Shield, angle, maybe even the MK14. No, that's not the case. It's the Roni that is being played by Tex. See, that would have been something if you would just try and challenge that with an MK14. Every single shot you hit is like 50 to 60 HP gone, so...
Well, Guts Gaming. It's not been the best story so far, and you still have 2 sites that you've got to try and burn through. Both of them might be dorms as well, although your closest was the swing round onto the meeting site. There's still what was a little bit tough and tricky. However, it was a point scrappy, and that was the thing. We saw Mario obviously down for a very long time from an early engagement. It turned into a bit of a 2 versus 1, but that turned into a 1 versus 1, and it just turned into 1 engagement going away from them. FNATIC there seemingly putting a bit of pressure here onto the bedroom, which they didn't do last time. They're having that Aruna gate, they're having the swing round, and they're having Mag, who's playing around the top of the tower. A very dangerous game.
He's just trying to get a spot out now. Pings are coming through from the side of Guts. They want to get that wall opened up, but everything besides that shield they're not going to be able to see due to the Mew Jammers in position. Now Light, well aware that someone might be in the big tower there, but they have no exact clue that Mag is there. He did take some damage though. Some people are well aware of his position, so he's trying to rotate out, has the attic to go through, and will be locking it off on his way out.
Tex is still around. Tex can still cause problems later. He's been a bit locked out, and he was just watching the rotation, waiting for Mag to have that locked in. Mariu's used this time to slip his way through as Light opens the split rotation, but as it were Mai with a lot of discs to throw. 3 stuck in the corner here, and Light's going to potentially start trying to burn those through so they can then take care of that shield, the swing towards Walk-In. There's the read and all the intel that's otherwise behind it, and as Mariu got that first play, but it's Mentalist that gets that first take. Yura goes down as Guts are still trying to formulate themselves against this new hold, and that's the good thing about FNATIC, is even though they were successful before, they're still
new jammer
adding these new ideas and effects, and that is a bit of a tragedy and ends up just popping it with utility, and they find Mentalist from the swing on Trophy Door.
And that's going to be at least a DBNO. He might be picked up, but it's an effective 4-on-4 for now. Now, he's stuck in that position. He's not going to be able to do anything as Lily opens up the white window just to put some pressure on. Light runs through, gets the first kill, goes for the second, manages to land that one as well, as it will be Mariu to find 1-2. It's just up to Tex now in a 1-on-4 situation to try and stop this from happening, but JJ from the window will be able to lock it off, and that is round number 1 here for Guts. Let's see if they're going to be able to find a second one onto their attacks, or if it will be FNATIC to lock it off to 5.
It was very sudden. It was very sudden for Guts to find, obviously, Mentalist and get the drop, but a quick rotation and a pickup. And whether it's just the calls, whether it's just that call for aggression and this call for, we need to get onto site, we need to put this pressure down, we need to start trying to hurt people, that's led to them getting some success on the swings, which was a very confident game from FNATIC. They were stumped for a little bit. They were a bit curious as to how to try and break their way through, and maybe that was a bit of a breakthrough. As for the final defense, Clash is back on the board, but Kitchen Dining Hall is on for the first time.
It's not the meeting.
Nope.
It's the dining. So a shower hold, most likely what we will see. The Clash could even come into play there. Just playing around the showers itself means that you do not have to actively have a shield around that position, because you can just try and zap with the CCE. At least many rotations are around. You could even also just put the Clash all the way on the backside by herself. She can just take care that no one will be coming through from the big tower of the meeting without them being aware of it, whereas the rest of FNATIC then will be, you know, taking care of the top floor and of course towards the small tower as well. Reinforcements are going up, and the top floor is a very important part on this side, especially in the kitchen. Not so much for the dining, it's just limited to the small tower, which might be able to find a couple of angles on that one. But surely we are going to be, well, not seeing a defender in there, and it probably being one of the first things that the attackers want to take.
Stigs behind an alibi, behind a shield, waiting and hoping to get a call to pop up and start trying to drop anybody that seems to be putting pressure onto Showers. As you said, it's likely a Showers hold, it's going to be a Showers take. You've got Mag on that Clash causing problems with the swing and just feeding intel from the back corner. It's so irritating to have to deal with, but it starts with small tower. It starts with getting the verticality above that door opened up and causing some problems, which the Sledge is the lead in. Hey, there's a C4. Doesn't quite get the catch. They're playing caution, which is fair enough, but when will this deadlock be broken?
So be careful it doesn't destroy too much of the ground there, because otherwise they're not going to be able to potentially get the exothermic on that top floor. Of course, will not be their main concern, as well, you know, the wall is currently not being electrified, it's not being jammed, so they can just get it right on, especially with the cover that Yura is currently putting through. I believe they're still putting it down from above though. JJ, yeah, they have it. We'll be opening up the half wall as a result. That is going to be putting some extra pressure down onto Mag. He needs to be careful now, because this opens up just like you see, and that means you can look over, probably not onto crouch height.
That's it. Clever ploys, clever plays, and something that FNATIC will be aware of. They still have the Clash, which is sort of this moving wall, but still, it's now much tougher to keep a hold and a handle on absolutely everything. There's 2 different angles, 2 different ideas, and 2 different sights that have to be seen at all times. JJ, his sight is firmly focused on the floor, being zapped the whole time, but they can't get the angle through, and Lily has the cover. Lily has it twice! Double down with Mariu dropped in the meantime. JJ, in a post plant, is just going to stick himself in. Holds on, and Mag has to drop the shield and go for the swing, finds it. The first frag is his. Now Fam is able to go for the retake, but they are above, and that's the worry. With those verticalities we saw opened before and 2 grenades, he doesn't need to find it, but he gets dropped. Lily is all that's left. 20 seconds, and there's this frag. Tex locks it off! And the expression was calm and a little raise of the eyebrow. I guarantee you mine would not have been.
Mine wouldn't have been either. He decides to go for the down player first. Good call. That's information. And on the back of that, you saw the last player from Guts Gaming trying to push down to, well, punish him for it. But Tex, his flick was too good. And now, a singular round in the next 6. And it's over. They need to get 6 in a row, Guts, if they want to go to Sweden now. Otherwise, Mantis is confirmed the third team to be qualified for the 6th major Sweden, not Mexico. That was a while back.
Yeah, I mean, they would be late if that's what they qualified.
That would be very late if they qualify for it now.
They would have been in the wrong place, and they would have missed it, and that would have been a shame. But there's still the chance. There's still the chance. It's 1 round difference, as you said. They have to go for 5 rounds of their defense, and then a 6th. Not.
What? What's the final thing you said?
And then a 6th.
Oh, then a 6th, yes.
Not just 5.
Not just 5. It's not overtime we're playing for. We're playing for a full-out win. Otherwise, look at this, just taking care of the information there from the down player. And then that is the Yana's cue to try and go for it. And just a singular extra shot. And it would have been Guts' round. So FNATIC, well, Mantis is definitely cheering for them right now. They're doing an insane job, and just a singular attack round is what they need to win. It doesn't matter what else they do afterwards. Just that one attacking round. And Mantis, after they lost their organization, would be going to the major.
So
not too late to pick them up, by the way. Just, you know, we're always saying that.
Guts Gaming. You've got to do a perfect swoop here on your defenses, and, well, FNATIC are here more than likely ready and able to try and punish it. They're back. They're playing well. At the start of the game, I said you expect Mag to play this game well, but who you need to show up is Mentalist and Tex. And the pair of them have, and that is a driving force, because when they are on, their gun skill has been phenomenal. It's obviously just been for different reasons, a bit of a disconnect in other games. Here, though, they made sure that they were here to play, and that is more than likely going to carry over. It starts over the top. Sticks cracking their way through to open up the angles and the pre-fires that we talked about when Guts did it before, but they still have a lot of utility left to burn their way through.
So not really anyone of Guts that is playing too aggressively off the site. I think every single member, yeah, they're all downstairs, they're all on the side, they're in blue, they're on the back stairs. And then a couple of players, of course, directly into the site itself. Mag opening up the hatch into the E-box, which often used for a drop consecutively or like together with the push from the back stairs. And as the diffuser gets dropped, you can already tell what Alphama is going to do. He's going to be in charge right here of pushing down either into blue or down the back stairs.
Still keeping themselves a little bit cautious of the hatch itself. They were ready and waiting with a grenade in case the C4 was going to attempt to be thrown up here, but they still have the eyes on the body that's behind the pillar. There is one player in the connection there. The grenade's going to come down on the close angle and get rid of any of the barbs, so they can have a bit of a cleaner drop if they go for a bit of a rush and try and apply flat pressure. Light. He's going to give himself a bit of a width here as he smokes off the door. He wants to try and find the pressure behind the barrels there. Waiting, and that's the worst bit. You're waiting for just a taste, just a little part of this push to start to come through, and here it is. Mag drops down, swings round, the grenade comes off the backside. Harry Potter gets dropped, but Sticks does in response. Tex taking over the pillar in the corridor too. Yura's on the close swing, and there's another connection through the soft wall. Mentalist down on the backside as Light is left in the middle in the mix of everything. He is all that is left, the only hope and chance. Sprays off, gets one, puts them into a 2 versus 1 versus 1. But buried now with a shotgun. It's just the last swing. FNATIC on map point. Guts Gaming in the playoffs.
And Mantis go to Sweden. They did what they needed to do. They grabbed the points themselves, and as a result, in round number 7, they get confirmed for Sweden. And Guts, well, they probably still want to win this game. They want to give it their all, but it must hurt so much. I mean, we saw it at T1. They were like physically hurt that they weren't able to go to playoffs. And for now, Guts, they keep their focus to it. It is still a game that needs to be played. It's still a game that needs to be won. And there's still an opportunity for them to fight back. But it will be for basically nothing right now. It's just the bragging point, you can almost say. The season is over. Their position is not going to be changing anymore in either the stage or the season itself. And playoffs is what they need to prepare for next.
Well, it was a well put together attack. The timing, the waiting, the caution, the approach, and the confidence and bravado to go for the take, to go for the hot drop and throw yourself into a fight to make sure that you locked it off. Mentalist 12-3.
Yeah, he's definitely stepping it up here.
I mean,
I'd have really loved to actually, you know...
They missed him.
Yeah, I was going to say he had the injury. For a moment, it looked like he might actually had to play with the injury because Alphama, for example, had some issues with the connectivity. It was a very, very interesting way he would
pulled
play.
his bed over to his...
To play on his knees.
Computer, to play on his knees.
I would have loved to see that in the player cam, but unfortunately, we did not get to see it. We did not get to experience it.
It would have been hilarious.
It would have been hilarious. But for now, FNATIC have managed to get themselves at least an OT secured, at least that point secured. And you might be thinking, oh, FNATIC could go to the playoffs. Yes, 4 points, 4th place right now in the top ranking. But that's not going to be happening because Cyclops and Talon, currently both overtaken by FNATIC, will be on somewhat similar points. And there's no way FNATIC is going to be able to go out because someone will win, someone will overtake them again and push them down to 5th. So FNATIC is themselves not playing for the playoffs, just playing to have a good ending to their year.
Well, they know someone's trying to apply some pressure here from walk-in, and, well, they miss out. Lily locks off. Tex has the rotation if they want to take it, and Mag is chasing Yura, who's slipped out of there. They were droned out, originally trying to put the pressure onto the front door, but they didn't quite catch it. Oh, no, wait. They did. Mentalist was there waiting inside security, ready to spring the trap that had been placed. But Mariu is also on the roam, and it's a consistent cat and mouse game with one more mouse caught. The final cat. Mag is able to bear claws, teeth, fangs, and catch the last roamer. Now it's just a matter of trying to find their way into the site itself without Iana, Mentalist, and Flores Tex.
So it's a 3-on-3. The default game gets taken care of. Light is ready for a potential jump in. Spots a drone and takes it out. Of course, not really being challenged actively yet. He is quite aggressive on his current spot, and his Styx is creating some extra opportunities to rotate in. The Evil Eyes, Black Eyes will be taken care of. Alphama looking to find a way to open up that wall, but a Mute Jammer might be blocking that from happening. So a grenade from below, dealing a little bit of damage, but needs to find the Mute Jammer. Like, out of ammo, there he gets it. So a little bit of a sparkle, that means it opens up now. 45 seconds, Styx near the trophy side. Mag about to be rappelling up on the window next to Games to provide some extra bit of cover. And it must be Alphama that digs in deep to try and get the planter down. 30 seconds, and it's still ticking down.
Well, now, can they do anything to try and knock out these final 3 players? They went with a very abrupt take and push previously, but it was led in by Mentalist and Tex, with Mag sort of offering the swing support. And he is going to try and do the same here, as he's still roaming around underneath with a grenade in pocket. But Alphama is the one that opens it up on the site itself. Light gets dropped, 10 seconds. And they still got to scream within the diffuser to see if they can get it into sight. Up white stairs, they go for the take, and it's Lily with the double, but he's fleeing. They get it!
He gets him!
Just swung around, and there's some joy. Alphama is having a heck of a time.
Oh, that was such a close one. The timer was about to hit 0, and I'm like, where is Mag? He's like running all the way underneath.
Cat.
The cat, Elmo.
Elmo.
See, the social media manager's going to enjoy that one. Oh, back to sleep. All right.
Back to sleep, Elmo. You woke up. Elmo's so confused. But if he understood the rules of Siege, he would be happy for FNATIC. FNATIC are able to lock off a win, sort of desperately needed, because they had such a fantastic start to this split, and then it all went wrong for reasons, unfortunately, once again in the FNATIC story, out of their control. But a great end game against one of the top teams who now are unfortunately locked into playoffs is likely going to be the conversation on our desk in the interview. We'll throw it to the ads first, and see you very soon.